Good morning, all. We'll start our session. Today's topic again, we are just seeing the address resolution protocol, which is very important to know in your data link layer. Why this address resolution protocol is needed? The simple concept is when you are getting a packet or a frame or a data from the above layer, that is from the network layer, it should be framed and then it need to be sent to the bottom layer, that is nothing but your physical layer, right? So your particular upper layer will be sending the IP addresses. But here in your data link layer, we will be concentrating more about the physical address. Physical address is nothing but your MAC addresses. So for that translation, we require address resolution protocol. So how that particular translation will be done? So yesterday only with our example, we have just seen here. So there will be two levels of addressing available in the entire particular frame that you are having it. One is called as link layer address. Another one is called as network layer address. In the network layer address also you'll be having network layer address is nothing but your IP addresses. That is a logical addresses. So it will be having source as well as destination. Similarly, with respect to your link layer also, it should be having which is the next nearest node. With respect to that, the link MAC address or the physical address should be available. So that is L1, L2. Understanding it? So this is very important to know. So in order to convert that, in order to have the mapping of that particular addresses, we require address resolution protocol. What this address resolution protocol will be doing? It accepts an IP address from the IP protocol, maps the address corresponding to the link layer address and passes it to the data link layer. See, when they have given the statement, we can notice one thing. We need to have a table. What does this particular table contains? So this one is called as ARP cache. Okay, what this cache contains? It contains all the MAC addresses and the corresponding IP addresses of the devices that they are connected with. Okay, say for example 19.0.0.1. This is the IP address. This is what you call as network address. Corresponding to this network address, it should be having a MAC address. Normally MAC address will be in the hexadecimal format, and it will be in terms of and the separator that we will be using here is colon instead of dot. This is here link address, or else you can say physical address. You have one more name for that, that is MAC address. So this is nothing but you are having. So what does address resolution protocol job is? It need to get the physical address of the device. That's it, nothing else. For checking or for getting the physical addresses, we require ARP protocol. So how it will be functioning? Normally, whenever it want to communicate with respect to one system from one particular system which is ready to send the data, and to which one it need to target to. For that, it will be goes on checking with respect to sending a request. It will be broadcasting the request packets to all the particular nearest neighbors whichever is available. So during your requests that you are just having it, just to check, just to get the IP address as well as MAC address of the receiver. You know the IP address, but MAC address of the receiver, you need to go with broadcasting the request. Once the request is broadcasted to all the particular nearest neighboring nodes, one particular node will respond to it. That is called as reply or response to it. So once you are giving the response, it will be a unicast. Unicast in the sense from that particular system to the host, whichever has been asked for communication to that particular system only, will be just sending the reply. This is called as unicasting. The request will be happening with respect to your broadcasting, whereas reply will be happening with respect to your unicasting, one to one. You can say it. Okay, but here one to many. It is not one to one. It is not one to all. It is one to many. That is what broadcasting is all about. Understanding it. So that's how it will be working. So once it responds with respect to that, the MAC address of that particular system will be the response that will be given to the system A. So it will be recording. Depending on that, it performs. So what is a major part of your address resolution protocol? It is used for getting the MAC address or the physical address of the other system to which that particular person need to communicate to. So that is a major aim of your address resolution protocol part is. Okay, so we'll just move on to the next one. So there is a packet format or the structure that is available. You need to follow the same structure because this is commonly formatted and it has been agreed by all in the whole world. They have agreed with respect to this particular packet format. So you need to go with the same particular format. What is the length of this particular format? It will be of 32-bit length. See here, 0 it takes from the starting bit. From left to right, if you are just seeing it means 0 to 31. So this will be nothing but your total number of size of the packet that you are having it. Packet in the sense, it will be in the, what you can say, it has been wrapped in one particular area and it has been sent. So that particular envelope, that is nothing but your packet format will say it. That is ARP packet format. What are all the things that it contains? It contains a hardware type. What is this hardware type is all about? Whether you are using a LAN, that is local area network, or a wide area network, or which particular protocol you are using it. Metropolitan area network, yes, that is also possible. Which particular type of hardware that you are using it, that will be recorded. What is the length of it? It is 16 bits. Okay, so the next one is your protocol type. Remaining one, it will be left with respect to your protocol type. What is this protocol type? It will be nothing but your network layer protocol. Network layer protocol means from the above layer, whichever the protocol that it has been decided, that is your IPv4, IPv6, or some other particular protocol, ICMP, which particular type of protocol it is having, that one will be taken care with respect to your protocol type. Next one is with respect to your hardware type, whatever the hardware type that you are using, depending on that, you will be getting an address. That what is the length of that particular address? Hardware length is nothing but your address that you are mentioning it. Similarly, protocol with respect to that, one particular length will be given with respect to the protocol that you are using. How much is the data that you can transmit it. For with respect to that, the length of the protocol will be decided and it will be kept. And after this, the next particular portion is nothing but whether you are sending something or whether you are receiving something. Depending on that, you'll be getting one particular number will be addressed. If one is the data that is addressed with respect to your operation type, then it will be nothing but your request. If two is a data that you are having it in your operation type, then it will be called as reply. So this is what it will be having. Rest of it, it is as it is. Source source hardware address, that is your MAC address of the source, and source protocol address, which protocol you are using from the source, that particular protocol, that is from the network layer you are getting it, right? So that particular protocol address, it is a port address, you can say it. The next one is destination hardware address will be coming into picture. Normally, between once you are requesting something, this particular destination address will be empty because this is what we are requesting for. So just because during your request phase, this particular destination hardware address will be empty. There is no other particular thing. It will be zeros. That's it. Whereas destination protocol address will be given. Protocol address is nothing but your IP addresses. That addresses will be given. Simple thing. Okay. I'll just try to annotate it. Yeah. This hardware type is nothing but LAN or WAN, right? If I use LAN, which is a commonly used one, we'll just go for it. This one is IP. With respect to IP, version 4 is there, version 6 is there. Generally, we'll be using version 4 itself. With respect to this, now we are talking about it. Next is hardware length. With respect to the hardware length, the address, physical address of the hardware device that we are using, input, and that is with respect to your source part I'm talking about, that will be the length. Suppose it will be carrying 20 bytes, means 20 byte will be the hardware length, 20 bytes. Whereas protocol address, protocol length is based on this particular protocol that we are using. IPv4 means it will be 32 bit. Understanding it? It will be 64 bit, sorry. 64 bit, no, 32 bit. IPv4 is of 32 bit, whereas IPv6 is of 128 bit. This is 32 bit. So this is what it will be just requesting. So if you are setting the requestments, suppose you are saying that it is a request, that is one. Then source address will be will be taken care. That is the MAC address of the system, whichever you're using. Maybe it's of 20-bit length. 20 byte, you can just have it. So with respect to your source protocol, it will be of 32-bit length, right? So 32-bit length can be addressed with 10.0.0.1. It can be. This one, the next part will be left empty. This one is blank. The destination address 10.0.0.10. This is how the ARP packet will be addressed with. So this particular address or this packet will be transmitted. Once the reply comes, say for example, here with respect to it, it responds to each and every particular part. So instead of this, I'll say that this one will be a reply one. That means this is a reply one. Once it is a reply one, at that particular point of time, your address will be not left as blank. It will be taken care. So it will be having the destination member address. Like this, it will be just the destination. Sorry, the destination here is once it is replying, the destination here will be 10 dot because it knows from which one it has been coming from the address 10.00.ff, whatever has been given in the above one, right? So this will be your destination address for your reply. This will be copied here. Source is nothing but which particular one it has been responded to. So that you are having this address. It may be having 20 byte length. So till that one, you can just address it. Now this will be copied to the ARP cache. So in that, you'll be having two blocks. One is physical address. Other one is logical address. With respect to your physical address, 10.00 FF followed by 20 byte length, whatever you are having it. The logical address will be having 10.0.0.1. Similarly, the destination address will be not known, but right now we have taken that particular part also 20 colon 2F colon etc etc. We have in 20 byte length followed by the logical address will be 10.0.0.1. This is logical address in terms of decimal format I'm talking about. This is also with respect to your hexadecimal format with respect to your physical addresses. Keep that in your head. So this is how it works with respect to your ARP packet. Why we need to maintain this ARP cache, sir? Just to have a further communication, we need to record each one of it. If it is previously available, means there is nothing like you need to leave this particular destination address as empty during the request phase. You can just transmit it as it is. Okay, so if it is available, it will be transmitting with respect to that particular packet. Otherwise, it will broadcast it, get the address, and then try to communicate with it. So this is how your ARP will be working. Why ARP is necessary? Because in order to get the physical address of the system with which we want to communicate with, so we require MAC ARP packet structure we require. Okay, so with this, your entire data link control as well as entire data link layer will be completed. We will be coming to the last part of your fourth module, that is your IPv4 addressing and subnetting. So what is this IPv4 addressing is all about? It deals with respect to your network layer I'm talking about. With respect to your network layer, I'm just concentrating with. I'm not worrying anything about your data link layer. Data link layer is completed. We are moving to the next layer that is called as IP layer or nothing but your network layer, we can say it. So under this belt, we'll be seeing two types of addressing. One is classful, another one is CIDR addressing. We'll just check one by one, one after the other. In the IPv4 addresses, normally IPv4 addresses, as I told you, it will be of 32-bit length. So how that uniquely and universally defines the connection of a device. For example, a computer or a router to the internet. With which particular thing that has been addressed, based on that, it will be just given it over there. Okay. This is nothing but your IPv4. How this addresses will be defined with respect to that, they have just given an idea. See here, 128, that is how this particular addresses will be coming. So it's a 32-bit length. That's what they are giving it, right? How it is 32-bit length? See, simple words, if you want to just say it. This one we have explained, we have just seen this during our first module also. Once again, we'll just try to explore it. There is a dot operator in between. So 4 slots will be reserved for it. X, I'll say it, first slot. Second slot is Y. Third slot is Z. And the last slot will be some E. Okay. So 4 slots will be available with respect to this. Each one of it will be separated by a dot operator. So 4 slots, each slot, X will be taking the value. X will be taking the value from 0 to 255. This is with respect to a decimal number. Similarly, Y, Z, as well as A, whatever you say it, all these particular features, it will be taking the value from 0 to 255. So if you want to represent this, you can say 255.255.255.255. So this is how the representation will be. So with respect to that, any number you can choose it from 0 to 255. So 0 to 255, if you just take it, so this particular first block, your first block will be taking the value from 8-bit length. How it is? Because all 8 ones you will be having it in 255. That's what the representation that you will be having. So 8-bit of data will be represented. Similarly, if I just move on to the second block, that is your after your decimal point, similarly you will be having 8-bit length. So the rest, third one is also 8-bit. Similarly, fourth one is also 8-bit. So 8 into 4 will be nothing but your total number of bits that has been represented over here. So it will be of 32 bit. That's all. What this particular address will be telling you? It will be giving you the logical address of a computer or a router that has been connected over an internet. Understanding it? That's where we are just looking at it. What is the address space of IPv4? This is what 2 to the power of 32 bit, 2 to the power of 32 number of addresses. You can just have it with respect to your IPv4 address. IPv6, as I told you, 128 bit. 128 bit means, so depending on that particular 128 bit, you need to have 2 to the power of 128 number of addresses. You will be having it. So that's the meaning that we are having it with respect to your IPv4 and IPv6. For our particular discussion, we will be taking IPv4 address. Why? The reason is we all are very familiar with respect to this type of addressing format, and we have used it right from 1980s till date. So we'll be just going through this particular type of addresses itself. So that's all with respect to this addressing format. We'll just move on to the next one. Classful addressing. What is this classful addressing is all about? See, your classful addressing, mainly it has been represented with a lot of address spaces there, right? So 2 to the power of 32, whatever is that will be taken care with respect to it, right? So with respect to now, your classful addressing means they have categorized your particular entire classes or entire particular IP addresses into 5 different categories. One is class A, another one is class B, another one is class C, like that. What is this class A, class B, class C is all about? In each one of the thing, what they will be doing is the first particular byte in class A, the first byte will be reserved for your network ID, and the remaining 3 will be used for your host IDs. For representing your host ID, this will be the representation. First one will be represented with respect to your network ID. What is this network ID is all about? Network ID is nothing but total number of networks that you can have it with respect to that particular region. What is the network that you are connected with? Everything will be detailedly explained with respect to your first byte. Remaining 3 bytes with respect to your class A will be left to the host. Host is nothing but to whom you are giving the addresses. So how many addresses that they require, they can just fill it with respect to your second, third, and fourth byte. So normally it will be having 4 different bytes, right? So depending on that, each one is of 8-bit length, right? So the same thing. The second particular class, that is your second class is nothing but your B class. If you are having it with respect to your B class at that particular point of time, you will be having first byte will be reserved for 10. This is your second byte. That is what they will be just representing it. After that, they will be just saying that second byte will also be reserved for your network ID. Remaining 2 will be for host ID. So class C, first 3, whatever is there, it will be reserved for your host, network ID. Now, only one particular byte will be left out for your host ID representation. That is 0 to 254 only, you can just select it. But here 0 to 255, 0 to 255, that means 16-bit will be reserved for it. So here 24-bit will be reserved. So but here with respect to your class C is only 0 to 255-bit, that is 8-bit length. But class D and class E will be reserved for doing some other particular operation. Normally class D and class E will be reserved for different operations. Class D is used for multicasting purposes. If you are going to deal with respect to your multicasting your addresses at that particular point of time, class D addresses comes into picture. Normally will not address or will not consider class D as well as class E. Those two will be left out. Only class A to class C, we will be just taking it to assign the IP addresses in the organization that we have. So depending on the request, how many they want, depending on that, we will be just getting this particular addresses. So that's all with respect to this classful addressing. But just check out with respect to your classful addressing. If I just want to have a only 20 addresses I require. Class A, if I use it, then it's of no use. Class B, it's of so many addresses will be left blank. But class C will be giving you the right picture of it. So that's all. That's how it will be working with respect to your classful addressing. How this particular addresses will be taking the value, that's all. That's what they have just given it. Class A, it will start from 0 to 127. It will be just taking it. That is 0.0.0.0 to 127.0.0.1 or 127 dot 127 dot yeah 1 till that one, but it will be just taking it. Next 128 from that 0.0.0 till 191, it will be taking with respect to class B. From 192 to 223, it will be for class C. It has been reserved, these particular starting address. That's what we are just making it here. So 224 to 249, it will be reserved for your class D. 240 to 255, it will be reserved for your class E. This is how it will be applied. So here with respect to your classes, so your class A, it will be of 8-bit length. Your class B, it will be of 16-bit length. Class C, it will be network ID will be taking with respect to your 24-bit length. Whereas class D, entire thing will be reserved for multicast addressing. Class E, entire thing is reserved for the future use. So with respect to that, no prefixes is available. With respect to your class A, B, C, there are prefixes. So your class A, it will be of 8-bit. Prefix will be of 8-bit. Class B, prefix will be of 16-bit. Class C, prefix will be of 24-bit. So class D, not applicable. Class E, not applicable. There is no prefixes. Only the entire thing will be used for one usage. Either multicast usage or else multicast addressing or else reserved for a particular next one. So in with respect to a lot of difficulty that we will be facing or a lot of unwanted usage of the addresses, we will be just getting it with respect to your classful addressing. We'll just go with the next part that is called as classless addressing. Instead of classless addressing, we'll call it as classless interdomain addressing part. We'll say it. That is CIDR. Okay. So we'll just see one by one. No class privilege to compensate for the address depletion. That is nothing but in order to find out a particular address, if we reserve so many addresses that will be unused ones, then it's of no use. Instead of it, whoever has requested how much they want, depending on that, I'll just assign it. That should be assigned dynamically. You cannot reserve it for your further usage. So that is a major drawback that we had it with respect to your classful addressing. Classful, it will be fixed and it will be just taking care about it. So just to avoid it, we'll be just moving into the classless addressing. So here the variable length blocks are used that belong to no classes. That means no classification is available. For our better understanding, we were using the classful addressing because it was used in 1960s to 1980s, so which was very popular, and till today many of the organizations are using the classful addressing. If they want a very limited addresses, at that time it is okay. Instead of that, what they will be saying you is you go for dynamically allocating the addresses. In that, the block whatever you choose it, it will be of variable length. It is not of the same particular type itself. The first address in a block is normally not assigned to any device. It is used for network addressing. That is common, as we have seen it with respect to our classful addressing also. The first block, first one, it will be reserved for your network addresses that represents the organization to the rest of the world. Say for example, 192.168.3.3 is the IP address that has been given for our system. 192 represents one particular thing, saying that this is an educational institute. With respect to the educational institute, in that too with respect to India, it is used. So for the rest of the world, we'll come to know in India for the educational purposes, we'll be using 192 as the number. So that is your network address. Understanding it, network ID. So the rest of it will be taken care for the addresses given for your system. That is how it will be working with respect to your classless addressing. Okay, see here. What they have done is classless interdomain routing. That is what they have just assigned it. What is this classless interdomain routing is all about? So first a particular 4 byte of data, whatever we were analyzing, the same thing. There is no change in it. Only thing is, instead of classifying it to, we were making the group by ourselves, right? 1 to 10, you go with respect to this, and 10, 11 to 20, one more group, 21 to 30, one more group, like the 10, 10, 10, 10, we are dividing it. Out of those particular 10, we may not be able to manage all the 10 particular bytes of data that has been arriving at. Instead of it, what we'll be doing, we'll be just assigning only 4 bytes and we'll be just keeping the remaining 6 bytes empty. That should not happen. For that reason, we are going with classless interdomain routing. In that, a slash will be available in front of your IP address that you are having it. IPv4 only we are addressing. We're not taking IPv6. IPv4 addresses only we are taking it. So 12.24.76.8 followed by slash, one prefix length will be just giving it over there. What is this prefix length? It is nothing but total number of addresses that you require in order to assign for that particular organization. This representation is very important to know. 8, 12, 25 is nothing but, it will be nothing but how many addresses that you want to have it. So 8 is nothing but, it will be always addressed in terms of 2 to the power of something. This prefix length will be addressed in terms of 2 to the power of something. 2 to the power of 8 is nothing but, 2 to the power of 8 is how much? 120. So 128 addresses will be reserved for this particular thing. So how much you require, depending on that, you just give this particular value. Depending on this value, that many addresses will be reserved for your complete usage. That's how it will be working with respect to your classless interdomain routing. So how this particular addresses will be taken care, we'll just try to analyze or gather this particular information regarding some of the example. We'll take it, and we need to know 3 rules for doing that. The first rule says that the number of addresses in the block is found as n, which will be equal to 2 to the power of 32 minus n. Why 32? Because we are using IPv4 addresses. That's it. Minus n, n is nothing but your length that you are having it with respect to this prefix length. So based on that, 2 to the power of 32 minus 8 means totally 2 to the power of 24 will be coming. So 2 to the power of 24 addresses we need to have it with respect to our particular scenario. Are you getting this? Are you getting this? To find the first address first address, if you want to find it, means we keep the leftmost bits of that particular set bits, whatever the 32 minus n rightmost bits are there. So depending on that, so the leftmost bits should be always equal to 0, 0, 0. If it comes with all 1, 1, 1, then it will be nothing but your that is the end address. Starting address is 0, 0, 0, ending address is 1, 1, 1. That is how we'll be just identifying the starting and ending addresses. For our better understanding, we have taken one example. A classless address is given as 167.199.170.82/27 will be the answer. Will be the thing that has been given over here. Fine. With respect to this 27, we'll just keep it as it is. Don't worry about that right now. What we'll be just seeing is, what is this 167? It may be in India with respect to one type of organization or one type of network we'll be using it. Remaining all is nothing but the addresses that you're having it with respect to the system. So now the number of addresses in the network is how many addresses I need to just keep it. For that, 2 to the power of 32 minus n. N is nothing but 27. So 27 is nothing but 2 to the power of how much it will be? How much it will be? 32 minus 27. 32 minus 27, it will be 5. 2 to the power of 5 means 32 addresses. Yes or no? It will be 32 addresses will be addressed for it. So 32 addresses, I need to just keep it for this particular organization for the usage. Now the first address I need to find out. How to make this? First 27 bits, whatever you are having, and changing the rest of the bits as 2 zeros. First 27 bits, I need to make it as it is. And the last 4 bits, I need to make it as 0. If I change it to 0, 0, 0, then that will be the starting address. That will be the first address. And the last address, if you want to find it, means last 4 bits, you just make it as 1, 1, 1. Convert it to binary and then do what? That will be the right thing that you can just go with it. So with respect to that, you'll be getting the answer with respect to addresses. So it starts from 64, 170.64. So it ends with 82.170.82. So till that one, how many addresses? 32 addresses will be there. So that's how we can just identify your number of addresses that we will be having. That bunch will be based on that particular group. Similarly, the next one, it will be good. So this is how your classless interdomain routing will be helpful, which will be overcoming all the unwanted usages. Because in our particular previous classful addressing, what we were facing is, we were having the entire addressing part to be reserved for that particular usage only. You cannot use it for any other particular purposes. That was a drawback. Say for example 0 to 127 means all the 8-bit whatever you are having, you need to use it for network ID. Remaining all, you need to use it for your addresses. But a lot of addresses are there. How much to use? How much to only 32-bit addresses as of now with respect to this particular example. If we have means remaining, it will be just a wastage. So instead of just to overcome that, we need to go with classless interdomain routing principle. So we'll stop it here. We'll continue the class once again after 10 minutes. Okay, so we'll just take a break for 10 minutes and we'll just resume our concepts. Okay, 2 more concepts are there. If we finish this module will be finished. So today my aim is to finish this particular module. Okay, so with this I'll just stop here for 10 minutes. 10 minutes, after 10 minutes, once again we'll I'll just send you one more ID with respect to that. Once again, you just connect to it. Okay, thank you very much.